Big racing nights, big wagering pools are here at Los Alamitos. Check out some of our recent pools in the early pick four. Over 200,000 on February 16th and nearly 170,000 on February 15th. Plus our late pick four had a pool of over $160,000 on February 16th. And of course our traditional pick six often has a pool of over $60,000 on Sunday nights. Plus much more. Big racing nights. Los Alamitos Racecourse.
And welcome everyone to the Los Alamitos preview show. It's a big weekend of trials. The Los Alamitos Oaks trials on Saturday, the El Primero del Año trials on Sunday. It should be a great weekend. And happy to welcome our panel here, Michael Wrona, Chris Wade, and George Duarte. It's going to be a good weekend of racing, isn't it, Michael?
Oh, for sure. Spiced up by a $31,000 pick six carryover on Saturday night.
George, you're going to be playing the pick six?
Oh, you know I'll be playing. I play if there's no carryover, so I'm definitely playing with the carryover.
Good to hear. And, of course, Chris Wade. Chris, you were red hot last weekend. Ninfet winning the Denim and Diamonds. That was your selection here on this very, very show. She gets the job done from the inside post position. Your other horse, Praying Cartel, ended up being scratched, but we're going to see him in action this weekend. Just the way that the process went on, he was 1 day over as far as being able to enter. But so we are going to see the horse racing this weekend at Los Alamitos. And I know since we have big trials here, Chris, we're going to talk a lot about those trials. But you have a selection on Saturday that is in race number 5, the race before the trials. Let's get right to it, Chris. Who is your horse to watch on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm going to give the 2 horse in that 5th race, La Famosa Vaquero, the look in that affair. This horse got rather rambunctious in the gate prior to the gate opening up, broke through the gate. Actually, when they break through the gate, I mean, 9 times out of 10, they just don't run to their numbers. And this horse did break well, broke inward away from the gate, was right there early, would finish steady, only beat a little bit for the whole thing, ran a pretty good 4th. And the barn is absolutely on fire. Lena's got a number of runners this weekend showing up, a lot of them in the same race, but to make races like this race go. But La Famosa Vaquero comes out of a very strong race, and I'm going to give her the slight look here. If she can mind her manners in the gate with everything factored in, she's my prize play and my preview show selection. If she can get away clean, she's up against Three's Company, who's not very quick away from the barrier, so this horse could be right there throughout and have a big look at the outcome there in that 5th event on Saturday evening.
Yeah, 350 yards allowance race for 3-year-olds and up. But I believe there's only one 3-year-old, I want to say, and that would be Freedom First, who ran 4th against pretty solid allowance competition that included Beach Walk. Beach Walk will be in the trials for the Los Alamitos Oaks. That's a $450,000 final in the Oaks and 4 trials on tap. Freedom First, the only 3-year-old in this field, are really solid mares here in race number 5. Let's take a quick look at La Famosa Vaquera's last outing here. So let's take a look at La Famosa Vaquera's and her last start. That happened on February 1st, race number 7 on that night. And she is going to break from post number 4. There's a good look at her right there on this close-up. So, Chris, I'll let you take it away on number 4, breaking here, La Famosa Vaquera.
Yeah, she, like I said, she broke the gate prior. She broke okay, kind of head high and inward away from the barrier. She was right there near the elite throughout the race and was finishing steady the final half of the affair. The favorite did fly late to get there on top of the wire, but this horse put forth a pretty solid effort with everything factored in, beaten like a long neck away from the barrier. But if she can mind her manners on the gate, this horse did that big look at the outcome. And when horses break the gate, depending on how bad it is, I give them like minus 10, minus 15. So that comes off their final time on my numbers because if they mind their manners, that figure would have been a lot better. But she ran pretty well with everything factored in, broke okay, kind of headward and skied. and finished pretty well for the final half of the affair with everything factored in. She has a pretty solid number. So she can minor manage inside the gate. She's got a good look at the outcome there. I think it's 7-2 on the program there in that race number 5.
Yeah, and just again to remind the racing fans, the trouble comment on La Famosa Vaquera is that she broke through the gate, and like you mentioned, Chris, still popped okay, and just missed there, finishing in the top 3. So that will be race number 5 here on Saturday. We have a lot to talk about it as far as the Derby trials are concerned. So, in the Oaks trial, so let's jump right on it and take a look at these trials. Like I mentioned before, 4 trials at 400 yards. So every one of these trials will have either 7 or 8 runners going in. And the top 10 fillies will advance to the March 22nd final. It's a Grade 1 event with a purse of $430,000. We know a lot of these big names. We've been talking about them throughout their 2-year-old campaign. But I'll just kind of do some highlights, and I'll just ask each one of you for just maybe a value play. Here's race number 6, the opening Oaks trials. The Political Chilitas at 6-1 for a filly that has qualified to a pair of $1 million races. You're still gonna get 6-1 on the morning line. Quick She Is, 10-1. Powerful Wise Lady coming off of the Los Alamitos Winter Derby final. There's Competent, who also qualified to a Golden State Million Futurity last year. And I think there's only 3 maidens still that are part of these trials. So 26 of these fillies have already won, and there's Up to Party 2-5 on the morning line. She won the Edinburgh last year, won the PCQ Breeders' Futurity as well. I'll start with Michael. Michael, any value play here in this trial?
Yes, number 4, Powerful Wise Lady, finished 5th. What's up, Chris?
Go right ahead. That was my value play in this particular race right now.
Sensational. Righto, mate. Sorry to steal your thunder.
No worries.
But she ran 5th in the Winter Derby, midfield finish, and granted she was comfortably beaten, finishing 2 3/4 lengths behind the winner Brown Coffee. But she actually ran a very good individual time of 19.89. I had to look through all of the trials, and that's the fastest time clocked by any filly for 400 yards. And we've seen her finish fast in previous races without a lot of luck across her career. If she gets the breaks, stepping back just against the fillies on Saturday night versus the likes of Brown Coffee and Train Bitaka in the Winter Derby, I think she's got a value chance at 8-1, while acknowledging how awfully difficult Up to Party will be to beat from the outside post position. Obviously, she deserves to be the clear-cut favourite. But value-wise, I would look to number 4, Powerful Wise Lady. I would also mention that number 3, Quick She Is out of a thoroughbred dam, and she might like her first 400-yard assignment. She's never been this distance. She might be looking for it. She's consistent, and maybe she can outrun her odds as well.
Yeah, Miss Lou Jean, the mother of Quick She Is, was a stakes winner here at Los Alamitos at 870 yards. So a very quick thoroughbred mare by Unusual Heat. George, any fillies that stand out as a possible value play in this race?
If the morning line holds, I have to go with Apolitical Chilitas as a possible upset on Up to Party. You know, I respect Up to Party's ability, but I haven't seen her do it at 400 yards, and I'd rather, if I can get a horse that's qualified to $2 million futurities and has one at 400 yards, or has competed really well at 400 yards, at 6-1, I'm going to take it. And she's ran good from the rail, and Flores knows how to get these horses to keep developing as they turn into 3-year-olds. And I really like her at that price. If I can get 6-1, I would not be singling in the pick 6.
So Up to Party is going to enter this race of about 12:10 workout on February 4th. And in that workout, she was kind of leaning while she was inside the gate. Broke a little slow, I thought, and kind of went sharply to the inside, leveled out after a few strides. And from that point on, then she took off. So Up to Party will be interesting to see how she comes back after, 3 months off. Last time she raced was on November the 24th in a trial to the Los Alamitos 2 million futurity. Let's go ahead and move along to the next trial here, race number 7. Shaking going on, an interesting runner here is a rise to Los Alamitos after running in a couple of futurities, including a $500,000 race, the Black Gold Phillies futurity, I believe, or the final futurity. That would have been a Will Rogers Downs, but she also ran in a $200,000 race in Oklahoma as well. Terrafina won here at the beginning of the year in coming off of a 3rd place finish as well. Streaking Sis has won two pretty impressive races, 2-1 on the morning line. I'll go ahead and start with George. George, any thoughts of a horse that you might be looking to give you a little bit of value?
For me, for the top pick, I would go with Terrafina. I like that she will not be favored. I'm assuming Streaking Sis will be the big favorite. But I was really impressed. I thought she had no shot taking on those older mares last time, and she almost looked like she was going to win that race and just was worn down late. But Just Call Me Candy would be a big favorite in this race, and so would Miss Ice Out. So I really respect that effort. Since she added LASIK, she's taking that step forward that you like to see. And I think Zamudio guys are really going well right now, and has that experience at 400 yards. And I just really like her. I think she's really sharp and catches a field that is not necessarily the most ones that would like to go the distance. Like, I respect Collegian. She's really fast, but her mare didn't really want to go that distance, and she's kind of on the smaller side. So that's one that I don't think will be able to outfinish her. I respect Shaking Going On from Eddie Willis Barn. She's been in really competitive races. That race in September, the Futurity, featured 6 next out winners. So she was in really competitive fields, but draws the rail, and it's first time at Los Al, so she might need a start for her best.
Yeah, she does have a couple of works here at Los Al. They've both been turning works. Here went 12.3 on January 5th and 12.3 also on February 16th. Chris, any filly that stands out here as a maybe value play?
Well, as value play, I have to agree with George. Terrafina was pretty impressive last time and earned a pretty solid figure, but I think factored into my numbers. So that was actually my second choice behind a Streaking Sis. Who's an obvious horse to beat, but won't be much of value. And of course, the shipper there for Eddie Willis down the inside has a look at the outcome as well. That effort was okay. Did have some trouble along the way. The prior effort was a much better on the numbers, but has a look at the outcome. But I'm going to give a little bit of a price look at Terrafina there in that 7th event right back.
Okay. Let's go ahead and go through the next trial here, race number 8, division number 3. This one, BGK Stigfield Follies, coming off of running in the Winter Derby again against males. That was an open derby. 4-1 on the morning line for the number 5 horse BJK Stigfield Follies. And it seems like against when she's against a tough competition, she steps up and delivers nice efforts. Beach Walk at 5-2. Juan Alaman has several really nice fillies that will be racing in these trials. Beach Walk won a trial to the Los Alamitos 2 million futurity and just went against Terrafina and finished second there, kind of being handily by Terrafina, lost by a length. But still, I think Beach Walk should be pretty tough. Michael, any thoughts on this race?
Yes, value-wise, number 4, Elizabeth Alexandria, appeals to me at 5-1. Hasn't been seen since the middle of last year. She had 3 starts in the first few months of her 2-year-old season. Did a good job to get up and win from off the pace on debut at 220 yards. And then the second and third races, she finished. She galloped out very well. I made notes of her gallop out on the 21st of April and the 8th of June. The race on the 8th of June that she won, she made up about a length into a 9.68 closing split. I liked that win quite a lot. Now, she's been on the sidelines since she was in training. You can see some works in August and September. So she must have had some other problem that kept her out for the second half of the season. But she has 2 recent turn and works. And I know it's a big ask off the bench, 400 yards, long time since she's raced. But I think she's a pretty strong filly and wouldn't be surprised to see her in the finish.
Yeah, I gotta like those odds as well. 5-1 for Elizabeth Alexandria. Chris, any other different names, or are we kind of looking at those 2 as the value plays? The 4 Elizabeth Alexandria, the 5 VGK Ziegfeld Follies.
Well, the other Eddie Willis horse shipping in from Will Rogers is Perry Fast down on the rail. This is a nice sized individual. Comes off a very, very troubled trip. Was drawn in post 4th, broke slow, was bumped back, and was crossed, lost a good amount of ground, and angled in the final half of the affair. Got dirt in the face. That actually was finishing on the rail, and then finished very strong and galloped out very, very well. So it's a very impressive performance despite all that trouble, with everything factored in. That horse, of course, Jimmy Brooks shipping in to a rider, puts this horse a little exclamation point over this horse. So I'm going to give this horse a look there, a little price there at, I think, 7-2 in the program at Perry Fast. Horse has a big look with a clean getaway from the inside.
And a couple of highlights on Perry's Fast. She actually won the Heritage Place Juvenile. That would have been the constellation for the Grade 1 Futurity. Won that one pretty easily by a half a length. And she was also part of the field in that race that Shaken Going On was in, the $200,000 race on September 23rd of last year. And actually had the lead according to the chart here. Ended up finishing 6th. So Perry Fast, probably fast out of the gate. Shows a lot of braking on top, and like you mentioned, Chris, last out lost her footing leaving the gate. Anything to add, George?
I really like VGK Ziegfeld Follies. I think she's the most proven at this distance. She's the only one that's broken 20 seconds. And I know she lost a beach walk, but she just absolutely cannot handle the rail. In her rail effort, she does not look comfortable at all, and she just does not run. But if you take those 2 out, she has really good efforts. I mean, she ran really good against Cartel Perry, who came back to run 3rd in the Winter Derby about a month ago. And this field is probably the weakest of the 4 trials, and I think she draws well. And I think she should be the favorite. I'm surprised she's 4-1. Yeah, I mean, we're going to Sizzler if I get 4-1 on this horse.
Perfect. Lobster. Just order some lobster there. Moving on to race number 9, the final trial to the Los Alamitos Oaks. And Ohana Spirit, 5-2 on the morning line, ran in the Los Alamitos 2 million futurity last year. Another of the Juan Alaman Gentry Farms runners. They always have really top fillies and mares, as a matter of fact. Hot Temptation ran 2nd to Train Vitaka in the Holiday Handicap, another race that was open to males and females. And Hot Temptation there at 4-1 on the morning line. She ran in the Heritage Place Futurity last year. Malinche, 4-1, has a recent gate work at 350 yards, went 18.6, but there's the favorite right there, number 7, Pearl Happy Wagon for Jackpot Farms. 9-5, coming off of 2 really good wins, including a victory in the trials to the Los Alamitos 2 million futurity. George, value play, which way would you go?
In terms of value, I like CM Cowgirls Are Cool. I think she's been really improved since returning off the layoff in October. And the connections are confident. They decided to skip the maiden stakes final and run in these Oaks trials. So they must think she's doing really well. Lozano stays aboard. I don't think the rail's an issue. And that's who I would use underneath. I mean, the 2 favorites are going to be tough, but that's who I would use underneath them in the trifecta.
Yeah, I would think that if maybe those post positions between Ohana Spirit and Pearl's Happy Wagon are flipped, the odds would also be flipped on those, perhaps. Michael, any thoughts on this trial?
I have no value pick. I love Curl Happy Wagon. I've always liked her. She loves 400 yards. She broke a maiden from the outside post. Some of her finishing bursts have been incredible, and I expect her to win. Maybe 9-5 is value.
Maybe that's value, right?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the favorite can be the best value in the field. I'm a big fan of hers, always have been. And Nicasio's been aboard for all of the starts, knows her well. And I think she'll be all over the top of them the second half of the race.
Chris?
I'm going to go Ohana Spirit. I like the way she ran over that wet, fast surface and didn't get away all that well. But before the nice from the way, was starting out very strong the final half of the affair. And there was a factor in her numbers right there with the aforementioned Curl Happy Wagon to the outside. He draws better with that outside post. But on my figures, Ohana Spirit, the second choice in that affair, has a big look at the outcome as well. A little bit of a price, might be a stab all play to get a piece of the pie would be Malinch's. This horse is always found a good amount of trouble, but can finish 400 yards right up this horse's alley. He has a look to grab a slice of the underneath exotic pie in that finale in my charts, but the slight edge to Ohana Spirit if a clean getaway is had this particular evening.
Well, that's a good look there at the troughs, the Los Alamitos Oaks. We're going to take a quick break, but before we do that, I'd like to just kind of mention Patricia Visscher, a trainer that has been here at Los Alamitos for a long, long time. Her husband, Hans Visscher, before that, trained horses here at Los Alamitos. She is now retired after a 23-year career here at Los Al. One of her most recent big victories here at Los Alamitos came in 2022 with Sweet Test in the Los Alamitos Oaks. So wish her a lot of luck now that in best wishes as she retires. She'll be living in Arizona, moving from her longtime home in Norco. So wish her well. We do have a little tribute video here for Patricia Visscher. We'll go ahead and play that, take a quick break, and then we'll come back and take a look at the El Primero del Año Derby Trot.
It's fire fast, honey. Just dream of me finishing strongly. Sweet Tess along the inside. Sweet Tess comes at fire fast, honey. I think Sweet Tess got up. Bred in Washington and raced by Teresa and Edward de Nike. Trained by Pat Visscher and ridden by Eduardo Nicasio.
Myself, I don't like carrots either, but I do love cookies. So there you are.
Racing. In the middle, Imperative is very fast away with Hot Girl Summer Bee and Sweet Tess down the outside is close enough if good enough, and Majority Interest is strong near the inside. She goes up next. It's Sweet Tess, Hot Girl Summer Bee, Sweet Tess.
Introducing Rolling A Ranch's newest stallion, Dash a Good Reason, a son of multiple champion Good Reason S.A. And a half-brother to champions He's a Dash of Fire and I'm a Fearless Hero. Dash a Good Reason was a finalist in the Grade 1's Los Alamitos 2 Million Futurity and Los Alamitos Super Derby.
Dash a Good Reason.
And he's ready to shine again in California at Rolling A Ranch.
Grabbed by Dash a Good Reason.
With impeccable breeding and success on the track, there are many reasons to book your mare to Dash a Good Reason in 2025.
And of course, one of Pat Visscher's most famous winners. Enjoy the moment, and that's exactly what we wish Pat Visscher there, to enjoy her retirement in every single moment from here on out. Let's take a look at the El Primero del Año Derby trials. Some really interesting runners in this one. There was a dozen Grade 1 finalists in the trials for the Oaks. Well, there's 13 Grade 1 finalists already with experience in those level of races in the El Primero. Let's take a look at race number 6, which will kick off these trials. Same kind of idea if we're looking for some value plays here. Show and Tell Cartel at 9-2. Train Bitaka is going to be a big favorite here at even money. Party Time Tom, a full brother to Up to Party. Fire Tools 1-2-3 also coming out of the Los Alamitos Winter Derby, like Show and Tell Cartel at 10-1. I'll go ahead and start with Chris. Chris, give you the first shot here at a value play.
Value play, I'm going to give a slight look to the rail runner for Leandroni's barn. Continues to stay in fuego. Show and Tell Cartel, not the best of trips last time, but ran very well with everything factored in. Had a good amount of trouble, broke slow, bumped back, close quarters across, and had a good amount in the final half of the affair. So that'd be my price look there in that first trial.
Any thoughts on this race, Michael?
No, I'll take a pass and get to you for the 7th, mate. I don't really have a thought outside the top 2 on the morning line.
That leaves you, George. Any value here?
I would say Fire Tools 1-2-3 from the outside. I think he's really liked the 400 yards. He's improved since adding Lasix, and you know he's going to get a good trip from the outside post. So I think Train Bitaka can't lose unless he breaks slow out of the gate. But as somebody to get to use in the exacta and maybe the trifecta would be Fire Tools 1-2-3.
Let's get right to race number 7. And Michael, you promised me here a horse to watch in race number 7. So I cannot wait to see what you got cooked up here for this race.
Well, I thought there was some value to be found with number 5, Jess Flaming. The horse has only had one crack at 400 yards and finished 3rd behind Ultimate Battle and My Bud in a futurity trial last October. And he's done some good work. The race 2 back is the one I'd like to take a look at in replay, when 3rd behind Train Bitaka.
Okay, Michael, and here it is, race 8, the Holiday Handicap, December 28th. I'll let you kind of walk us through this one.
He has gate 5, the hot pink cap. He gets forced in a path at the start, has a clear path thereafter, but he did run on really strongly behind Train Bitaka, who obviously has gone on in leaps and bounds since then. The last little bit of the race was quite impressive to me. The gallop out also, as he's coming through between the 1st and 2nd place getters, right up there with them around the turn. So I thought it was a solid race. He was closing into a fast final split, and I liked that run. Now, he has since finished only 4th of 6 in an allowance, but he was cutting back to 300 yards in his most recent start on a wet, fast track. It might have just been something to keep him ticking over. I just didn't really think he was necessarily spotted all that great. And I think getting up to 400 yards is far more suitable. So if he happens to get a clear path, 10-1 is appealing enough odds for me to include Jess Flaming.
Yeah, 10-1, definitely very juicy odds here for Jess Flaming. George, any thoughts in as far as this race is concerned, trial number 2 to the El Primero?
For me, it'd probably have to be Bottle It Up as a price play, just because he just didn't really have a chance to run last time. And the race before at Albuquerque was actually really good. He was really fractious in the gate, came away slow, and finished with plenty of interest. And he's run big, strong races here at Los Alamitos, especially at 8-1. You know, he's worth a flyer at that price. And then I always like Eduardo Nicasio. He's a really good gate rider. He's really good at keeping them straight, and he draws next to favorite Jess Hawk, who's not necessarily the quickest early, so might be able to get the jump on him and maybe be able to run second.
Chris, any thoughts?
Yeah, I got to keep giving him another chance. The horse has done pretty well with. He had a troubled trip last time and caught him a couple races back at a nice little price from the rail. Now he goes to the outside. Last time from post 2, he had trouble, was crossed. But the outside post, he's done well from there before. I'm going to give him a look. He likes the rail. He's done well from the outside, so I'm going to give him a look there as one of my selections there. And, of course, the 2, Favorite Just a Hawk, as noted by George, not very quick, but big run away, 400 yards right up his alley. If he gets away clean, he's got to look at the outcome as well. And, of course, Tessio, another horse with some trouble along the way, can get a piece of the pie at a price there on the inside. So those are my numbers. Are they factored in?
Okay, so Favorite Semental, a horse that you think might be upsetter over Favorite Just Hawk, and of course he's coming out of the Los Alamitos Winter Derby, where he just had a race to forget after doing so well in the trials. Let's move on to race number 8. This is the 3rd division, and to me, very wide open. We have Just Send Kevin at 5-2, exiting the Winter Derby. Big Hurt has been in some Grade 1 races in the past, but last 2 starts have, he just hasn't left the gate that sharply. Mitchum coming off of a 6th place finish also in a Derby trial, but he took a lot of money in that race. He's 8-1 here. Midnight Mood ran in the Governor's Cup Futurity and ran 3rd to Favorite Just Hawk in Astronomical with a 2-race win streak. Chris, go back to you.
Well, I'm going to give Mitchum a look here to get a piece of the pie without a shadow of a doubt. Has a big, long strider and was well meant for these 400-yard races. And I'm going to give him a look here, of course. And, of course, Astronomical to the outside, 1, 2, 3. Has a look at the outcome as well. So those are my top 2 numbers there in this particular race. Of course, City of Blood, always thereabouts as well.
Michael, any other horse that you think might be, this is such an evenly matched field, so there's quite a few horses that could provide value.
Yeah, well, there's equipment angles in play with Just Send Kevin, first time without a flipping halter, and Big Hurt, first time without something else. Jose Flores has tried so many things with Big Hurt. The blinkers came off a few races ago. The flipping halter went on last time, and now we get the ultimate equipment change, first time gelding. Maybe that can help. He showed so much promise early in his career, did Big Hurt number 3. But the horse I would have to mention is the horse that Chris talked about, Mitchum number 5. When I was in Australia, gone for 2 weeks, I had one bet across those 2 weekends. I asked my wife to invest on Mitchum for me in the Winter Derby trial. I had loved his allowance race in early January off the bench. I thought he was absolutely primed to run a huge race. He was dismally disappointing. I just find it quite inexplicable how bad he was. But, gee, the odds have floated up, haven't they, at 8-1. Maybe you've got to forgive a good horse one bad run. Put it this way, I'm going to have something on him on Sunday night because I'd be reaching for the razor blades if he won without me. So, 8-1 is enough to reel me back in on Mitchum number 5, even though I'm just at a complete and utter loss to explain that last performance.
We saw a lot of money coming in. Now we know why. You were away all the way from Australia. Nice. George?
For me, I like Just Send Kevin as a win-in, but a price play for me would be Astronomical 1, 2, 3. I think since he's been gelded, he's been a new horse, I think, and he really likes to win these photos. He won, by nose and by head. Gets the outside post, and one of the other reasons I like him is I'm just against a few of these. I'm against Midnight Mood. I just don't think he wants to go this far, and I think the only reason he's the favorite is because he worked so well going 220. But this race is going 400, so I don't care what he did at 220. I just don't think he wants to go 400. And the other ones, the Big Hurt and Valcaruso, they don't want to go past 300 yards either. If you look at Big Hurt, he's kind of a small horse. He does his burst, the first 100 to 200 yards, and then he starts weakening after. So I'm against him as well. And then City of Blood is a knucklehead. He always finds ways to have trouble. So that's why I like Astronomical on that outside post, can avoid the trouble, and is going to get to run his race.
If you are thinking of playing Midnight Mood and kind of combining with what you just said, George, maybe go back and look at that gate work on November 2nd, which was at 350 yards, and the time doesn't pop out of the page, 18.5. But maybe take a look at it and see how he worked on that night. Then he came back and ran third in his trial to the Los South 2 million. We'll go ahead and move on to the final trial of the night here on Sunday night. And Fiery Eagle is a very interesting horse. Comes from Texas, ran in the Grade 1 Texas Classic Futurity, a $900,000 race. He also ran second in the Heritage Place Futurity against Kempton. So he's been in two big races in two different states, one in Remington Park, one at Lone Star. Ultimate Battle moves to the Barno trainer Eddie Willis, Buckway Ranch. Willis trains other horses for Buckway Ranch as well. This horse is coming off of the Golden State Million Futurity Final, and he's run second to Up to Party twice in Futurities here at Los Al. Defending champ at 9-2. And Cowboy Bolt for trainer Lindolfo Diaz. He posted a gate work at 350. He's 7-2. And he ran in the Los Al 2 million Futurity Final. Was a big long shot in that race. Speed favorite for Jackpot Farms, coming off of a hard-fought nose victory. I'll go to you first, George, here in the final trial of the night. Who would be kind of like a value play here, George?
My value play is a pick. I'm shocked. I did not see Michael text to our thread saying this was his pick. I thought for sure he was going to jump on Defending Champ, but he didn't. So I said, well, I guess I got to jump on him because this is the horse I really like. If you just go by who are the favorites, Fiery Eagle, his lone bad race was on the rail. If you look at the comment, it says pushed in, but he wasn't pushed in. He floated in at the start on his own, and then he just resented the rail. He didn't want to do any running, and that's so. Then he draws the rail again. So I'm not a fan of him at a low price. He's gonna have to beat me at the price he's expected to be. Ultimate Battle, switching barns and switching riders is always to me a little negative, especially him who he got high strung last time, and he's not necessarily the easiest horse to ride. And then you're switching to a new rider. I would have liked to at least seen a gate work out of them to see, okay, how does Justine get along with him? But I don't want to go in blind at a short price. And I think this Defending Champ, last time we talked about him, we were all saying it was a prep. We know he's going to go on to something better. So, we don't expect Scott to have him fully cranked up. And he just won very powerfully. He won, solid clocking. He's going to handle the 400 yards. It's not even a question. And then he draws in between two average breakers. Should get the clean trip that he's been looking for. And I think he's going to run a bang-up race.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at that last effort there, since he got the victory there on February the 8th. So let me call up that race to relive that really, really impressive victory there for Defending Champ again, leaving from post number 3.
Yeah, like Michael said, sometimes the value is the favorite, and he was valued at 3-5. All he needed to do was get out of the gate, and he won easy. It was over. He did what he was supposed to do, and he's going to improve second off the layoff. Scott that wasn't the race, that wasn't the target, and this was the target, and I just expect a really good effort out of him.
Yeah, very impressive.
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, it was a very impressive performance off the layoff, and the horse had a B++ workout prior to that for that particular return effort. But this is what they had their eye on. Big, long strider, galloped out very, very well. Galloped out STT on my charts, but very impressive performance, and has a big look at the outcome there, as noted by George in that finale.
STT, you got to tell us what that means.
Galloped out strong. The more T's, the better he galloped out.
All right. Michael, value play in this one? Defending Champ or going somewhere else?
Oh, no, 100% Defending Champ. 100%. big fan of the horse. I think he'll win a Derby this year, and it might well be this one. I was just disappointed that he didn't contest a Winter Derby trial. I didn't expect to see him make his seasonal debut in a 300-yard maiden at odds on when I couldn't get any value out of him. But his effort was outstanding, and there's no point my repeating everything that's already been said. But rest assured, I'm firmly in his corner. I'm a big fan.
You know, that just says a lot about defending champ, because we are talking about these two inside horses, Fiery Eagle, who ran second in a $1 million race, and Ultimate Battle, who also ran second in the Edberg Million Futurity here at Los Alamitos. 7-2 for Fiery Eagle, 8-5 for Ultimate Battle, and the talk in this trial is number 4, defending champ. So that should be a heck of a race, heck of a way to end the weekend here at Los Alamitos. And again, it's going to be a great weekend of racing, trials to the Los Alamitos Oaks on Saturday. And remember that big pick six carryover, over $31,000 going into the Saturday event. 7:05 p.m. for Saturday. On Sunday, 5:30 p.m. starting time. And again, trials to the El Primero del Año Derby. And Michael, Chris, George, thank you for joining. And to everybody watching, have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, boss.
Have a good one.
Big racing nights, big wagering pools are here at Los Alamitos. Check out some of our recent pools in the early pick 4. Over $200,000 on February 16th and nearly $170,000 on February 15th. Plus, our late pick 4 had a pool of over $160,000 on February 16th. And of course, our traditional pick 6 often has a pool of over $60,000 on Sunday nights. Plus much more. Big racing nights, Los Alamitos Racecourse.